Tracy.
Is Andrew coming as well? Okay, good. Everyone just run a little. Oh, yeah. There he is. Okay,
But I can double check. I don't have
that's okay. I just wondered since we're gonna start our pre. All right, let's go ahead with the work session then. If Mark shows up, that's, he can join us. First one on the list is 210 Hawthorne Avenue, window and door changes. Were there any comments from the board?
No comments.
I just have a question about this one. On the south rear elevation, there's an element dashed in and it's noted that it's going to be a future addition for later this year. And I was just wondering how transparent that element's going to be. Is it going to be like a covered porch with columns, or is it going to be actually walled in? Because I kind of like to know, how visible the area next to the existing door is going to be.
I only got this one electronic.
Oh, yeah.
As I think if that addition wasn't going to be there, it's right here. It's just
On the
dashed
first
in.
page, yeah,
Yeah.
I saw
So
that
that's going to be a future addition later this year.
on the back.
Yeah. And
Okay.
if that doesn't occur, or if it's a transparent element, I think it would look nicer to maybe maintain one window right next to the door, just so there isn't such a big blank area there.
Oh,
But
I see.
yeah,
I see
but-
what you're saying.
yeah, if
Window
Yeah.
sill
the
on the
future
back.
project is going to cover over that, it would be kind of a moot issue.
Mhm.
But if it's going to be a really open element, that's a different story. So I'd just like to find out a little bit more about the plans for that future area.
Mhm. Okay,
Right, yeah, that. It's there. So that future area
It's
is like
like-
a whole. It goes up here like a whole
Yeah, yeah.
2-story
yeah, it looks like it.
element.
Yeah, it's not shown on the site plan or on any other elevations. So, but the one I'm interested in knowing about more is the rear elevation.
Huh.
Okay. Next one is 235 Hawthorne. Porch in addition to garage. Any comments?
Yeah, having done similar project to this, we had to add a vent, an exhaust vent over the barbecue grill. Because it's under roof,
Uh-huh.
and so having that hang down under the roof might change the look of this thing a little bit. Cause the roof line seems pretty minimal. If we have something on the end just hanging off, I'm just kind of curious what that would look like.
Yeah, they should plan for it.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah, cause I've got a grill, so it's,
yeah.
I know it's on the end, so maybe they can get away with it, I don't know. But
Mm.
mine was very similar to this, and we had.
The
to put
other
a
one
big
was-
grill.
Interesting. So you're saying because it's a grill under the covered roof,
Yeah.
they're required to have a
Exhaust
mechanical
vent.
exhaust,
Yeah,
even though it's open on 3 sides?
yeah.
Hmm.
That's what Will Penny made me add to one of my projects,
Really?
yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know
You do?
Oh, I'm sure people have done it without it, because I
Yeah.
wouldn't
that.
have.
No, I didn't mean me.
But we did get one.
Oh,
And then there's the little thing, and then, so that, yeah, I guess, like you say, it should be added by
yeah.
in the
And
design.
I think it hangs down pretty good, like it can only be, can't be more than 30 inches from the actual surface, so that
Wow,
would be a big
Hmm.
thing hanging
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, I mean,
Darn
that's-
it.
it's interesting because that, I've run across that with indoor,
Yeah.
grass, but there are options to do.
Oh, maybe they have that.
They
Maybe
have,
that's
there
what
are
they're doing.
options to do in the counter, the
Oh.
downdrafts.
Maybe they
that
have
meet the
that.
current codes too, so.
If that's the case, I wouldn't have any.
I mean, that's a,
Oh, that's a
that
good
was something I
idea.
was just mentioning, because maybe
Yeah.
Will, I don't know if he's. I know you can do that on an interior. so.
Yeah,
And that would meet the requirement, just like an inside one, the
Mhm.
downdraft. I would,
Yeah, it's a, I
that's a
mean,
good idea for us.
a question or
Yeah.
whatever.
that's good.
You should do it that way on your project.
Yeah.
Right, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
so it doesn't become an architectural feature,
Yeah.
so you can put that in as a change order. Okay, um. Anything else on that one? Next one we have is 314 Park Road was this one, did you guys review this last week? I wasn't here. I don't.
Yeah, we
Okay.
did. There was no project representative, so
But
it got
nobody-
tabled.
Oh,
No
okay,
one took that.
gotcha. All right, any comments?
No,
Yeah, we were discussing that, there's a lot of shingle style siding that's being added, on all elevations and especially on the rear, and on the sides, it's appearing quite busy, especially for, a basic massing that has so many kind of intricate ins and outs. And the existing horizontal siding looks much better to me with the design.
mhm.
And then also on the rear elevation, there's quite a bit of stone that's been added to the back of the entire first floor wall. And that stone only wraps 2/3 of the way around that bay. And to me, that's a very awkward, unbalanced, kind of heavy looking appearance.
Yeah, I think we had said like maybe if they like that stone, like continue the stone, just like the height of the wall there
Yeah.
at the right, just make it like a wainscot kind of
Yeah, make it
on
like,
the outside.
yeah.
Like this wall here and just have it go like this instead of this whole area, just sort of
Yeah.
stone, horizontal shingle thing. It's kind of what we said before. It's
And-
like a lot going on.
Okay,
and also it seems like it would look better for if there is a stone wainscot there to either not wrap it around the bay or go all the way around. The 2/3 looks quite
Yeah.
awkward.
Yeah, I didn't even catch that.
Yeah,
So-
just stop it right at the bay or the, whatever you call that. Yeah.
Either all the way or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also too, I really do think the existing front door is much more compatible with the style of the house.
Oh, yeah. That must have been-
And it is in the historic district.
Right.
I think the panel door works really well with the mullion and mutton pattern on the windows. And I don't think that new door really does anything for the
Arch-
design.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
no other arches.
there's no, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just seems like it's not really compatible.
Right.
Mm-mm.
Good point.
yeah,
Mara said that Mark was calling.
Okay.
I'm sorry, missed the work session, possibly late for the 19.
okay, okay, great, thanks, Andy. All right, I think, no, there he is.
He's zooming in now.
You might be late, but you're not. That's all
You
right.
didn't miss much.
So Mark, we have reviewed the first three. I don't know if you had any comments to add.
No, I actually did not.
They're all public hearings. We have minor comments, so we're going to discuss them either way. All right. Next on our list, we have 248 Worthington Worthington Drive, rear addition, front porch renovation. Any comments?
It looks like there used to be an arch detail in between the columns, and I think that's being removed. I think it is. I just wanted to ask.
It is.
Yeah, I noticed that.
That's, I mean, I saw that too.
I have a few questions. There's on the east elevation, there's an existing door that is not shown, it's shown in the photographs, but it's not on the elevation. And I was just wondering if that door is actually remaining or if it is being removed.
East elevation,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
And apparently, I guess that's the screen porch, the existing screen porch is not drawn in. I'm assuming that that gets left as is, but it's not really called out. And then also with the false windows, I was interested to know what they plan behind those, you know, what
Mhm.
you'll actually see when you look into there. Let's see. What else do we have? And yeah, to me, the front elevation just kind of appears a little bit unbalanced. I wonder if there's a possibility to maybe keep a smaller window in the kitchen there someplace, just for, we can kind of ask about that just to balance out that front elevation a little bit. And then the west elevation is an awful lot of siding.
Yeah, I agree. The west elevation could use something. I appreciate the existing elevation only has so many windows, but then the other part, the windows are very small. And there's just a lot of siding. I mean, there's no, you know, the other part at least has brick and so forth. For me, for the front, I wasn't particularly fond of this false window over the front door. It seems like it's really crammed in that little gable. It looks, I don't know, it feels unnecessary to me. It's a false window anyway, so I don't know what, like you said, I don't know what that means for them, that they, what it goes to, but I would get rid of it.
Are you okay with the false window over the garage?
Well,
I know there's more space there.
Yeah,
It didn't
so
bother me a
I
whole lot.
can't say, I mean, it's at least has enough room around it,
Mhm.
is I guess how I looked at that one.
Yeah.
You know, but it's okay. Either I think it could not have it and it would be all right, but.
Okay, any other comments? We'll discuss that one. We have a pre-approval in Tuxedo, then the next one is 11 Wilshire Terrace. Attached garage, any comments on that one?
I was just gonna note the garage placement is gonna be really tight. It looks really tight for turning around back there. I think it's only 16 feet, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they're planning on using it as a garage, but if you were to pull in and try to, you'd have to back out instead of trying to turn around. I just think it would be really tight.
Oh,
Mhm.
that is a little tricky.
I just also had a question about the style of the garage door. Is it going to be as shown or will another style be selected? And then also too, we just received some additional information. Looks like some various options on the north elevation.
Yeah.
And I think that the one that's the first option shown, the one that has the angle on the chimney on the stone, looks much better than either of the other two, the original or the other option. Because that straight interruption in the gable yeah, it doesn't seem to work well. I think that but having the angle on there softens it a lot. Oh, yeah. Yes. So we'll just kind of verify which one they're planning on doing.
Yeah, I agree. I like the one with the angle.
Uh-huh.
Let's, this might be it. This might be it.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a picture? of
Oh,
the
that's
door?
what that is?
Okay.
That's what the garage door looks
Oh,
like.
yeah. I saw that picture, but it didn't have any
Yeah, I didn't know what that
notes on
was.
it.
It's a nice
Okay,
garage
okay.
door.
Yeah,
Where
better
was
than
that?
what they have now.
Okay, okay. So that's what that picture goes to. Okay, thank you for the clarification. Yeah, that's fine.
Not the carriage size. So for me, the west elevation, which is a blank wall, is right at the neighbors. So for me, they need to do something to it besides a blank wall then, because it's very visible by their neighbors. The back, it seems like is more blocked. So, and it's smaller. So it's not as big a deal, but the part where it's completely open to everybody, they need to do something there, not just a wall of siding.
Okay, any other comments? All right, Marshall's pre-approved, then that leaves 7985 through 87 Big Ben rear commercial addition.
I was curious if they could add a window to the right side, you know, the
Mhm.
addition, there's only one window over there.
Yeah.
And then the stair, the way the stair is designed just looks a little precarious to me. I don't know if I'd feel comfortable walking up that stair. It just feels like you're so exposed and over a two-story building. I'm just curious if there's another way to put it up against the building somehow, or. It seems like it's sticking out. And that might be my own take, because I'm a little afraid of heights, and I think that would be a little scary getting in there, but.
I thought
I'm
it looked
curious to
kind of
see what
neat.
you guys think.
I,
I don't know.
like
yeah, I didn't have a
I
problem
got a
with,
stair
No.
like that at the foundry, and I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I think it
Might
looks
just be me.
good, but I would feel the same way. I'd be going, you'll be okay. Just
Yeah.
one step in front of the other. It's fine. It's fine. Just don't look down. It's
Yeah.
fine.
how- yeah, how would you feel if they were glass treads? Would that
Yeah.
make you feel more comfortable?
It is one additional comment. It would be nice if there was another window on the rear,
Mhm.
because that does face a residential area.
Yeah,
And because of the height of this structure, that is pretty visible from the residential area.
yeah. One thought I had when I was looking at it too, I mean, I appreciate the transformation for sure, and really love the roof garden and all that stuff. when you're looking at the proportions of even the fenestration, like the original building had smaller, more rectangle, proportion windows, and the new one has kind of bigger, almost squarish. So one thought I had was, because I agree with Tracy and Carol that, the north and the east seem a little blank, and if there was maybe consideration of maybe a couple smaller windows instead of the bigger ones, just a thought, because sometimes that's even the proportions of the windows on the rear, they don't seem to be like necessarily directly related to the proportions of the brick, which I think might help them tie together a bit. It's just something to consider. That existing facade has nice randomness to the fenestration, which I think makes it interesting. I think the new addition kind of, maybe there's an opportunity there to provide a little more interest and tie them together visually.
Well, and it looks like it's a stairwell on the
Yeah.
side, so I don't see a reason why you couldn't have a window in the stairwell, right?
Yeah. Aside from that, I didn't really have anything else.
I think the front looks really nice. That'll be a nice
Mhm.
addition to the neighborhood. Really good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I appreciated as you said, the transformation. Yeah, I appreciate that. But I do agree with the window situation. It's a little tricky, but the addition could use maybe a couple more in particular. This,
Mhm.
this, one of the renderings sort of shows that.
Right.
Right, it sort of gives you the full view of both parts that don't have,
Yeah, 3 stories of
not a lot.
siding.
Yeah. Which it's one thing when it's the brick with
Mm-hmm.
all that, that's a
Some
little.
texture. Well, and that's another thought too, is, if it's not fenestration, maybe there's something else architecturally to pull some of the lines from the existing. Maybe there's trim that could be added, that the datum line of the, of the foundation gets pulled around.
Right, shorten it up,
Mm-hmm.
do something different.
Yeah, so they maybe start to relate that way. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in a fenestration form. Possibly.
The work session?
Are there any other comments on Big Ben? I think we can pause until 5:30. All right.
And then this
Okay,
is.
and so,
Everyone?
Stupid.
yes,
Okay, great. I think we're ready. I guess microphones are on. All right, welcome everyone to the Architectural Review Board meeting. We just finished our work session. Our regular meeting will now begin. Introduce Yolanda Wilkins and Andrew Klosterman with the city. We have Sarah Richardson on the Zoom, City Council Liaison, Carol Dunkey, Tracy Collins, Mark Vogel, and Angela Thompson, and myself, Bob Buckman. We're all volunteers on the Architectural Review Board. First item of business will be review of meeting minutes from September 15th. However, I don't believe we have enough present, or do we? I think we have to have 3 and only 2 people are here. So we're gonna have to table the September 15th meeting minutes. All right, next on our list, we have a couple of pre-approvals. So once we read your project and you're pre-approved, then your project has been approved. There's no need for you to stick around. Ask for board members to make a motion and refer to what Mara sent out and laid out for us here. First one is 508 Tuxedo Boulevard. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 508 Tuxedo Boulevard with the understanding that the roof support posts have trim skirts, but no capitals at the top, and lattice will be added under the deck per the updated drawings we received today.
Second.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, 508 Tuxedo is approved. Next, we have 373 Marshall. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve 373 Marshall as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Marshall's approved. At this point, we have public hearing project first. If we call your project's name and you're here in person, we'll ask that you come up to the microphone and introduce yourself, and we'll discuss your project. And if you're on Zoom, to raise your Zoom hand, and Yolanda will add you. First project is 210 Hawthorne. Is there anyone here for that? Hi. Well, welcome. Carol, you had some questions, right?
I have a question about the outline here that is noted as a future addition for later this year. Do y'all have an idea of what this lower space is going to be? Is it going to be walled in, or is it going to be like an open porch, or? Okay, okay. Yeah, I was just thinking if it was something we could see, we might want to, keep a window there. But if that's going to be entirely covered by the future addition, that answers my question. Okay.
Okay. I don't think there were any other comments, but since it's a public hearing in a historic district, we have to basically ask if there's anyone else here that wants to make a comment on 210 Hawthorne or online. Seeing no one and hearing no one, I'm going to ask for a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to approve 210 Hawthorne as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? All right, William, you're approved. You're welcome. Good night. Next, we have 235 Hawthorne Avenue. Anyone here for that one? Anyone online for that one? Hello?
Hello?
Rochelle, if you can hear us, we need you to unmute, please.
I can hear you, but it wasn't playing. Can you hear me now?
So are you here with 235 Hawthorne?
Yes.
Looks like she's talking. We just.
No, we don't have any.
Rochelle, we don't have you on audio.
Yeah. Not sure what's
Um,
going on there.
I am here.
She's able to speak, but we can't hear her. Yeah.
I'm trying to chat.
is the problem on our end? Is there
Probably
volume control?
speakers.
You want to
Can
see?
you
your
can you turn on chat?
speak or to see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah's unmuted and talking, and we can't hear her.
Oh, I wasn't talking, sorry. I didn't know you'd unmuted me. I can hear her.
Yeah, we
There.
can't hear.
Oh,
There's a
she
chat.
can hear Rochelle. though.
They can hear.
Chat is disabled.
We cannot hear them. Okay.
Okay, well, maybe, I mean,
Oh, okay. And Sarah can hear her, but we can. Okay.
can't hear her. Okay, well,
Let's do it via chat. Go ahead, Carol.
with 235 Hawthorne, I mean, for me, I'm okay, but I think other people had comments.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. My only comment, and
Andrew, this might be a question more for you, but there's a grill surface underneath
That's
the
right.
roof structure. And I think that,
Couldn't find anything in the code. It's just
really,
most manufacturers might dictate
okay,
So we would ask for information on the grill to try to see if the manufacturer has any restrictions on.
hmm
Okay.
So there might be something there, it
Yeah.
sounds like.
Okay. Was that the only comment
I think so.
on 235?
Oh. Surprise.
Okay, so that was the only comment on 235 Hawthorne. All right, so Rochelle, I think we don't really have any comments. There was a question about whether or not you'd have to add a vent for the cooking surface, but we're not sure yet. So with that, is there anyone here present or anyone else on Zoom that wants to make a comment about 235 Hawthorne? And seeing no one else, can I have a motion?
I'd move to approve 235 Hawthorne Avenue as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Okay, Rochelle, you are approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, there she is.
You
Just in time.
Works.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
bet.
Thank
Good
you.
night. Next, we have 314 Park Road. Hi, Jim. Great. Good to see you too. Carol, I think you had some questions.
Yeah. It looks like there's an awful lot of shingle siding that's being added all around on all the various elevations. And for me, it just looks awfully busy because we have a lot of geometry and going on in the house. And with the combination of the shingle siding and then when you look at the photographs, we've got shingle siding juxtaposed against kind of a prominent roof shingle, and then also the horizontal siding. It seems like it's a whole lot going on. So I know there's existing shingle siding on that front dormer, but I think that it should be left at that, and the rest should be horizontal siding. And then we were also discussing the addition of the stone on the rear bay, or excuse me, not just on the bay, but all the way across the back of the rear on that first floor. And it just has a bit of a heavy, awkward appearance. If there was a desire to incorporate stone there, maybe a good way to have the stone, but kind of tone it down a little bit would be to kind of continue that, the level of the stone at the wainscot level and take it across the back of the house and either stop it at the bay or have the wainscot go all the way around on all three sides of the bay.
Well, I gotta explain to you guys here that these are not my changes. The architect is not controlling this one at this point. It's under construction and the contractor and the homeowner have chosen to make some changes. If these, I guess what I can do is share with you. I could share with you, we took a few pictures today. There we got stone up underneath the overhang.
You know, I would not have voted for this, whether it was in the historic district or not, because of the way it appears. And just because it was constructed without the appropriate public hearing, I'm not inclined to vote for it just because it's already constructed. That's really unfortunate that the,
I guess I'd like to address, you said it looked heavy.
yes.
Showing this
Yeah, to me it does. And that going just partway around that bay is just very awkward.
Can you pass that?
Yeah.
Can we see that?
Just hand it to Tracy. Thanks, Jim.
Oh, it does go all the way around.
Looks like it goes all the way
Yeah.
So they actually changed the change to make it all the way around, but it's still, yeah, it's.
But they haven't gotten to the siding work yet. It doesn't look like.
They've not done the.
Yeah.
Shape,
Yeah. And what about the front door?
the front door.
Yes, the front door is changed.
You'll have to show me.
Sure. There's, the front door has a glass and an arch on it, and there's really no arch elements anywhere. And then the existing front door, let's see if we can find it here. Oh, yeah, is that the paneled style, which looks much better with the front of the house with the windows. Yeah, it's more appropriate, and it is in the historic district.
I appreciate your comments.
different.
The glass in the front door. I don't find it that objectionable. A lot of people want to come back and get rid of the solid door and get some glass in it. I know you don't like the arch at the top of it, which is fine. You have your reasons. But I think the front door is fine.
Yeah, well, also in the historic district guidelines, they call for the front door, the existing front door, the original to remain rather than being changed out. That's part of the guidelines for the historic district.
All right. Wow.
Tracy.
I'm
or
sorry. I
go-
just wanted to
yeah,
ask
go ahead.
about the front door again. Is
Sure.
that do you know, is that the original front door? It appears, and there's only so much we can know, but it appears to be of style that it would be.
I
So
do
that's
not
kind of
know-
all I can go with.
I do not know if that's the original front door. Is there any pictures on that thing that shows the front door? Have they changed that already?
No, you can't see it on here.
Yeah, not
I mean,
really.
it's sort of red. You can tell.
The
it's red,
original, it's
but
really hard to see because the photos are so small.
does it look like it's red?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's probably the original one because that's probably.
Tracy, any comments?
Nope.
Mark? Angela?
Well, I guess I would like to say that I do agree with Carol that the stone is it kind of doesn't quite match for me. It doesn't, I guess I wouldn't have thought this was okay if it was brought in as the original design. And I understand they built it, but we're not here to worry about whether someone's asking for
No,
forgiveness or
I agree.
permission. So, that's not our issue. We are going with whether or not we would have approved the design. So, that's the situation. And I just wanted to add that. I also think, keep the front door. That's a pretty standard historic preservation kind of thing, is to maintain actually all the doors and windows on the exterior of a building. So are pretty important when it comes to historic preservation. And this is the historic district. So
I could just follow up. The stone in the back doesn't feel as offensive to me with it being underneath the covered patio area.
Yeah.
Kind of, in my opinion, well, that's kind of a personal area in the back of the house. I don't know if that rises to the occasion of a yay or nay for me, on the board, maybe for a few. The front door thing, not being able to change your front door out in the historic districts That's tough.
It's very standard, that's an extremely standard thing to do in historic districts throughout the country.
In the historic guidelines.
It is
which with
absolutely.
this present board, that's been brought up to a new level since I remember being on the board, which is prerogative of the current board. Hi, is it working?
Yeah,
There you go.
it's fine.
I think to some extent, as an architect, I don't necessarily find putting glass in a front door that did not have glass in it before to necessarily create a negative aesthetic, whether it's historical or present time. So that's your call. If you feel like that is, rises to the level of this board to shoot it down, that's your prerogative. But I say, wow.
Yeah, we have had front door replacements that we didn't vote for. It wouldn't be the first time. So for me, it's not really even about is there glass or not, or does it look the same? It's just about the architectural style of it. So personally, I know we all have different views on it. So
Are you referring to the arch?
yeah.
Well, maybe
Just-
they haven't put that in yet. I'll tell them, get rid of the arch.
Right. And I mean, that's just my opinion on it. I think the arch is it's a little odd because it doesn't really match. There's no arches anywhere. Although some might say, that gives it a little bit of emphasis, but it certainly isn't an historic shape. It doesn't feel like an historic front door shape. So that's all. I sort of agree that the character of the house and that door don't match. And I know that might be subjective. I think the shingles do transform the house in a way that I don't understand. I don't think it necessarily enhances the house myself. I think the house it's a simple, clean lines, and the horizontal siding reinforces that. So the shingles look like just, I don't know, a transformation not necessary. When I look at the back, and the stone, I appreciate you bringing in the additional photos. I think it is undercover and downplayed. For me, I look at it as a historic preservation, or do I say, this covered porch that's on the back certainly isn't historic either. And I can put those two together visually myself and say, I'm fine with the stone, especially because it's under the covering. And so for me, that whole back of the house has sort of been transformed already. So I don't really have an issue with it, especially now that the third bay has the stone, because I thought that was very odd when I looked at the original images. There is a modern addition on the backside as well. So I don't really have personally an issue with the stone. The door, to me, was just maybe the geometry of it, the architectural character of the home. And I would not feel comfortable approving the shingles myself. So, and as you know, Jim, we all have different thoughts. So I think we've all made it through our comments. So the question would be, is there anything that you've heard, or is there anything that we've suggested that might be considered in the submission when we vote to approve? Or would you like to review anything with the homeowner and the contractor first? Or would you like us to vote on what we're seeing? Exactly how it's.
I get it, Bob. Good
Sure.
question. And yeah, you guys got to understand, I'm just another architect here.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is frustrating to find so many contractors out there just not even looking at the drawings, and in some cases, this one in particular, homeowners thinking they're allowed to do anything they want to their house.
Yeah.
And so
Can I ask a question about the material of the chimney on the left side of the house? It's difficult to tell photo if that's brick or stone. I personally don't, I'm not an architectural historian like some of the others here, but I didn't have a problem with the stone on the back because I thought that it kind of picked up on the material of the chimney and it resembled that to some degree, but again, I can't tell from the photo what the chimney is made of. Do you know if that's stone?
Brick.
It is brick.
Yeah.
Is it painted?
Excuse me just a second. Um,
Okay, so Mark, is there any, do you have any other
No, that
comments?
was my only comment.
Okay, so I guess, Jim, back to the question that I
yeah,
had.
you're asking, do we want to, do we want to go ahead and just vote or do we want to try to fix things?
Right,
Um,
because I think, you've heard from enough of us that kind of where we stand on the transformation. So the question is, do you want
Right,
us to?
unfortunately, I wasn't even involved in the decisions to
Yeah.
move this direction.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, sure.
So,
So,
I think we just need
would you like us to table it? Because we can do that as well, so you can discuss what was discussed here with the homeowner and contractor.
Okay.
I'd rather not table it.
I think that answers.
I'd
that.
rather be done. with it.
Sure. Gotcha. All right. Understood. So if there's no further comments from the board, then the next thing is it's a public hearing. Is there anyone online that wants to make a comment? Sometimes I miss my paperwork here. Okay. On 314 Park, is there anyone online or anyone else present that wants to make a comment? Please raise your hand or your, okay. Seeing no one, then I'm going to ask for a motion on 314 Park.
Before we make a motion, is there any concessions that we want to make about the door? Would we want to put in the motion that the door could remain as is and vote that way? Where we're making a change, or should we just vote on the drawings as is?
We've
I
omitted the,
believe if you
I think he wants us to leave it.
vote
as
to
is.
disapprove, you can have conditions for.
right,
this.
we can state what they are
Say why.
And
Or
I think
approve with
it's
conditions.
appropriate.
or
to do
approve
so.
with conditions, right?
I think we need to vote as
We
is.
should have a couple of conditions.
Yeah.
With the vote.
Right. Okay,
As is. Right.
as is, right. So with that, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 314 Park Road as submitted.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed?
Opposed.
Opposed. All right, so 314 Park has not been approved, and I guess the conditions would be the objectionable, or I guess to mark in the notes would be the addition of the shingle siding. And the arch in the door. Is there anything else?
I think the change of the front door for me personally, and then also too, with the stone the way it is, I would not vote to approve that.
All right,
I might, yeah, I get it, and we voted and we're probably there. It just occurred to me, maybe we should try to accept the stone, but I don't care.
yeah,
So,
Try,
well, I'm just looking ahead
yeah,
at how this plays out with staff. But my guess is it's not going away that fast.
okay.
But it's all,
All right, Jim. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Next on our list, we have 248 Worthington Drive. Anyone here for that one?
NY. And I represent Forney Plus Architecture. And
Oh.
with me, I have Molly Marr. She is the homeowner.
Welcome. All right, we had some comments on this one. Oh, yeah, I remember what they were now. It's been a while. There were some questions about the windows, the false windows specifically. The one above the garage, what's the detailing consideration? Like, what are you gonna see from the street in the day and night with a false window?
So the intention with the false windows was just to have spandrel glass there. And it's just a way to kind of balance the front elevation. We're going to be moving the overhead light over the garage and putting in wall sconces. And so there's this big plane of siding, and we were looking for solutions to kind of break that up. Another one might be a vent of some type, just to break up the siding a bit. So we are not opposed to making a change to the false windows. It was just an attempt to break up some siding.
Okay.
So the one over the front door feels a little squished in there. It goes like completely in the.
It does, doesn't it?
You know.
Let's eliminate that.
Okay, yeah.
Let's
Okay.
eliminate that.
Okay.
Well, and my suggestion was gonna be if you were really wanting something there, if it was not a window, but a vent or something, and it was smaller and it was more more proportional, say to your dormer window on the front, that's it, the height to width ratio, something a little bit more like that proportionally to me would look better and tie those three elements together, just as a thought.
So
I
that
don't know.
it's not,
Yeah,
the
that's not
corners
a
aren't up to the-
square button up against the trim.
yeah,
So
right. So
if we were to change.
whatever you want.
Yeah.
if
to
we
a
were
vent.
Change the garage
Mm-hmm.
window to a rectangular vent. Do you feel it's important to repeat it at the gable over the front door?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't think you have to have something there.
At all.
If you want something
looks-
there,
right.
though, I'd make it so it's, it's more proportional.
With that being, not really being a vented area, I'd like to just eliminate that.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think that'll
And
look
do a
fine.
rectangular vent then at the garage.
Okay.
That would look, I think that's a good idea.
Yep. Agreed.
The garage door now has some windows in it. Is it, are we keeping that garage door? Cause I just noticed. Okay.
Oversight, the as-bills were done by others and I just didn't take enough time to
Yeah,
look at
no.
that. I didn't notice it.
Yeah. I think this might be a graphic thing too, but I noticed on the dormer and the front gable and actually on the garage is shown this way too with the pork chop ends. And it doesn't look like that's really the case with the existing construction. And even on that sunroom, it looks like those.
I did notice that. I
angle.
thought there was the pork chop on the garage, but I noticed that the overhang is not quite right on the
Yeah.
as-bills.
So I guess would you have the pork chop then on the front gable on the?
Let's see.
It doesn't look like it exists anywhere on the building.
I'd say let's eliminate that.
Yeah, just have a,
Okay.
Match
just
it.
off it.
match
be-
it.
We'll match existing.
Great.
Had a couple of clarification questions. There's an existing door on the left elevation that it's in the photographs, but it doesn't show on the drawing. And I know you didn't do the as-built. I was just wondering if that's an oversight, that
Oversight.
door is remaining.
Yes,
Okay.
another oversight. Apologies.
No problem. Just, clarifying.
That was the one elevation where there were no changes. And so I really breezed over that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm assuming that the screen porch, the existing screen porch is the same situation. It remains as is. Is that
Yes, ma'am.
correct? Okay.
Yes.
Let's see, I think there was something else here. Let me get through the drawings. Oh, yes, on the west elevation, we have quite a bit of uninterrupted siding. We just have the very small windows. And I was wondering if there was a possibility to maybe revise those windows in the master bedroom instead of having the 3 high windows, maybe having a longer window on what would be each side of the bed position. That would help kind of fill in that area. I sketched it, just, you can see just a scroll on there to, no, not at all. Just to kind of, show that a possibility there. Either way is fine, but this is just so much just blank area. And if there's any window you might incorporate into this area up here.
Because of the plan, what's up here, I'd rather not incorporate the window here, but we are open to adding these.
Okay.
So I would take the same size as this. I would like to be getting one so that there's.
I think that would be wonderful. Yeah.
So I'll take care of
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
So the both sides of the bed window.
Yeah.
So let me see what that.
What
that
we're,
was.
we're talking about is doing windows of this size.
Yeah, there.
Here, and then banging them all together, so there's 5.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
That's nice.
That would be
Oh,
it. But nothing above because we have a bathroom and a closet.
I mean, yeah, with this nice feature down here,
right.
I'm
Okay.
good with that. Thank you.
Well, it's balanced. The
Yeah.
existing house only. So, yeah.
All right. Awesome. Not a lot of-
Wait.
Not as many windows as normal.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, any other comments from board members?
Just one quick clarification. The front beams, looks like you're losing the little arch detail is that right? Okay. Wasn't sure if that was, okay.
Simplifying, a
Yeah,
little bit
Right.
more clean line.
yeah.
Well, and the brick pier that you're adding there really kind of gives a more modern feel to the house, a little more modern architecture. Nice.
Did I hear at the work session that there was a question brought up about the column base and head?
I don't think I miss on this one.
No, I must have misunderstood.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we understand there's gonna be some modifications to the bedroom windows and the vent or the false window above the entry will be removed and the vent or the false window above the garage will be revised to a vent more proportional to the dormer window.
Yes.
All right, great.
And then the changes to the bedroom windows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so with that, do I have a motion, please? On 248 Worthington.
Like to make a motion on 248 Worthington. With the following clarifications, there will be 2 windows added to the master bedroom. On either side of the existing 3 windows on the west elevation. The false window at the front gable will be removed. And then the false window currently shown above the garage will be changed to a rectangular vent. The eaves will be changed to remove the pork chop detail and just be parallel with the roof slope. And is there anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye, opposed? All right, you're approved.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a good evening. Next, we have 11 Wilshire Terrace. Anyone here present for that one? Nobody? Oh, we have someone on Great.
People.
Good evening. Hello.
Hello, this is Ed Heine,
Hi, Ed.
and I'm the
Welcome.
architect for Agape.
Very good. And then we have Rob with us.
Yes,
Are you the homeowner?
yes,
Welcome.
thank you.
Comments from board members, please. I think we talked about garage style door, which we got.
Mhm.
Looks great. I thought the garage door looks great. Thanks for sending that. There were some options on the fireplace too.
Yes, I think that the option on the fireplace that incorporates the slope into the masonry chimney, I think that looks great. The other two I really don't care for.
That would be good. That's why we provided those options.
Yes, very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Pick and choose.
Were there any other questions from the
I
board?
had a comment, the
Oh,
sorry, I have to figure out where we are in the plan. The west elevation is very visible and it's just a completely blank wall of siding.
And that's the elevation that faces the neighbor.
Yes,
Yeah, and we purposely did not provide a window there for privacy and security.
okay, well, it also is a big blank wall right at the neighbor. So not something that is, neighborly. So I appreciate the security and so forth, but maybe, like a couple windows up high and one on spaced there would be a lot more attractive thing to look at than a large wall of siding. At the rear, it doesn't seem as though that is particularly visible, but the west elevation is very visible.
Okay. And maybe the owner can address that, and maybe from his neighbor's perspective.
I wouldn't be able to give any input on the neighbor's perspective. I have no problem with putting a window in there, I don't believe. Although we would primarily use this a lot for storage. And so that's one of the reasons why we wanted the whole wall was to be able to hang things on it. But that was our thinking going into it.
I'm sorry, I couldn't really understand you very well.
I apologize.
oh yeah, go ahead.
I can't really speak for the neighbor's perspective on it. But our perspective was we wanted the whole wall to use for storage. I don't have a big issue with adding a window there if it is needed and desirable. So that's kind of our perspective on it.
Yeah, that's, I guess, why I mentioned maybe up high windows. It, allows you to use your wall and so forth. And from a security standpoint, it's harder to see into the garage if people are worried about that kind of thing. But I guess for me, you need to do something. You can't have a blank wall right at your neighbor's yard. It's unfortunate. And I guess, and as in regards to the fireplace, I like the one with the angle as well.
Yeah. Mark, do you have any comments?
No.
So Rob or Ed, do you feel like adding a window to that side is something you'd be open to doing?
Well,
Want to do?
Let me ask this. Would it be acceptable? We currently have a window on the eastern wall. Would it be acceptable to switch it from the eastern wall to the western wall? Or absent that, I guess, yeah, we would be open to adding a window.
You're saying you would move the window that's on the east to the west side?
Correct. If that would be acceptable to the board, that's an option. If that is not acceptable, then yeah, we'd be open for a window.
That one window. And put it on this side.
And might I ask a question?
Sure.
Is there any possibility of going to the neighbor and asking them what their thoughts are on it?
Well,
Neighbors come and go.
Yeah.
right.
Right.
I mean, really, I get, this board really just tries to look at projects from all sides.
Sure.
And really just objectively at what we're seeing, not necessarily what someone's opinion might be. So, but the comment, I think just to, break that facade up a bit is somewhat a valid comment, and it's a question and a request, but so that's why I'm asking you if you're willing to put one on that wall or not. It's not, or some way to break it up. So one thought I had is when you mentioned you'd move the window from the other side, is you could, if you want to keep the window on the interior of your property, and if you're looking to, reduce costs or something, you could just put a smaller window on both sides, one on, just cut the window in half. Yeah, I'm just throwing out that as an idea because sometimes folks make comments about windows and they're expensive, and really that, we try to offer other ideas for you to consider, if you would consider in the just to see what you think. Because really the garage aesthetics from the exterior is really what we're doing, but we're also commenting on our own personal architectural experience as well. Just getting daylight into a garage is usually a pretty nice thing.
Well, let me ask this then. If we do not want to put a window on that side elevation, would the garage be disapproved?
I
Wants to know our vote before we.
right. Once you want to know what our vote's gonna be.
I do. Right.
Yeah. Well, for me personally, I would encourage you to put a window there. I think it would look a lot nicer, but I'm not objected to the way you have it drawn because it's not a large garage, I guess, is what I would
Right.
say. So that's my thought.
I also would prefer a window, or you could even do like two small high windows, which I don't think would add a whole lot of cost, and they would be difficult to see through. You could, and something that someone couldn't crawl through, just two kind of small, high postage stamp style windows, I think would improve that elevation a lot. But I would not vote against the way it is.
Thank you. I appreciate that comment.
All right. So with that, do you have any other comments here, I guess?
This is just for my own curiosity, but it sounds like you're using this new garage as storage only. I was just concerned about you getting a car in and out. It's very tight.
And I think the owner can address that, but my understanding was that it was not going to be used for automobiles.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah, it will be tight. It's tight back there right now. And frankly, this will it's not as tight going into that garage as it would be going into the current garage, which you kind of
Yeah,
have to.
that's what I just noticed.
Right.
Like to turn around
Yeah.
and get in there. It's
Very small car.
hopefully you have
Correct.
experienced drivers at your house.
A golf cart.
Yeah.
And we do have a golf cart.
Oh, there you go. I'll work for that.
Okay. With that, any more comments from board members? If not, we can make a motion.
Would our motion include the window then? We're gonna add that window to that side?
I don't think they want to.
Make a recommendation.
Yeah, I don't think you guys want to add the window. It sounds like. I would say we could do that.
You want to just make it like an option or a recommendation to add a window? Would everybody be okay with that?
Yep,
Okay,
and let's see how it turns out.
See how the vote goes.
All right, so with that, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 11 Wilshire with the following understandings: that the garage door will match the style of the garage door shown on the photo that was submitted this evening, that the rear elevation of the new patio will include the chimney option with the slope on the chimney. And there will be an option to add a window or windows to the west garage elevation.
Second.
And I thought that was going to be a recommendation to the window.
But it's an option, which means you can do it or not.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay,
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
All right, you're approved as approved. Per the motion. Thank you, Rob and
Thank
Ed. Have
you.
a good evening.
You also.
Thanks.
Thank
Next
you.
week, yep. Next, we have 798587 Big Ben. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Terry Dowdy with Dowdy and Associate Architects.
Oh, great. Welcome, Terry.
Thank you.
But that was not.
I don't know if you heard our comments prior, and got probably emailed some of them as well. And if you wanted to maybe give us some of your thoughts on what we've discussed.
There was discussion in the work session about the north and east walls being rather blank. The east wall, I think, first of all, it started with a much larger run of stair in there. So that's where we were consumed with stair. The stair has gotten a little tighter because the floor to floor height was a little less than we thought it was when we started the process. So I think between the head of the stair, or the landing of the stair on both the lower level and the first floor, we could certainly pick up a window in that. It gives us then 3 windows on that east wall instead of just 1. There was also some discussion about the size of the windows, that they were all consistent and the existing building isn't. Correct. One of the things that we're looking at on the upper level hasn't fully gotten developed yet is an expansion of the existing apartment that's up there, which means those windows are going to have to be, it's probably going to be bedroom space. So they're going to have to be egress windows. So they're going to have to be larger. Right now, the north wall of that upper level, it's kind of playing out that it's going to be a Jack and Jill bathroom with walk-in closets on each end. So that north wall is going to be consumed with closets or bathroom. So it's kind of hard on the upper level for me to pick up some windows there if the plan develops. And that apartment level plan, as I explained to Mara, that's going to be a separate submission, a totally different package, because right now ownership can't agree. There's multiple owners. They can't agree on what the layout of that space is going to be. So I just couldn't get that done in time.
Yeah.
So I think we could certainly address the east wall easily with picking up a couple of smaller, not the same large egress windows that we have shown right now. Gives us a little bit of variety then to the east wall. Let's see, the large
volume, if you will, of siding. We originally looked at the existing building, and the east and west walls of that building are just plain brick. There's nothing, no detail to them or at all. So it's kind of why we left just a siding run. Now, obviously, we could pick up some horizontal trim at each floor line, maybe to break up the mass of the siding, but we're trying to just kind of keep a little bit in tune with the generic, kind of boring, if you will, east and west walls of the masonry building. So based on what I heard you say earlier, those are kind of my thoughts as to where we can go, and certainly would be willing to add the windows to help that. Because you're right, the east wall's pretty plain.
Yeah, and I guess for me, closets and kitchens, I mean, we review a lot of projects in the course of a year, and some people say, well, that's our kitchen, we don't want a window there, or that's our closet, we don't want a window there, that's our bathroom. And I'm always just open to, suggesting that you could fit a window in any of those rooms. So if it's a closet or not, it could benefit from a window, is what.
Except they're so small that right now the only closet space that I have would be against the outside walls.
Yeah.
Because they're so small, by the time I put a door to get into them, that's all that's left.
Yeah, I guess from the board's perspective, we're really looking at it from the outside, of course. And after you've the idea of the brick and trying to be monolithic, I see your point. But maybe the trim piece relates just at the foundation level.
And
It's just a thought,
I think we could certainly pick up a little bit of trim on those walls.
some way to help it break up a bit.
Sure.
And I wouldn't even suggest it at both levels. I was just thinking in my mind visually, because that foundation is a different material even.
Right.
I don't know how you're going to construct this thing. So I don't know if the foundation is going to, if you're going to have cement, concrete coming out of the ground and exposed.
The intent right now is, since the grade does drop to the north, that lower level would essentially be slab on grade, and
Right.
we'd build the wood frame structure off of that.
Yeah.
But maybe because of the difference in the concrete that's exposed on the existing building and the
Yeah.
masonry, maybe we pick up the bottom, that line, horizontal line, maybe we pick that up in a white siding where the rest of it's gray, which is what we were proposing.
Yeah. Like
So at
trim
least
board.
that visually carries the line around.
Mhm. At least at the base. That's just my thought. I don't know. Other people might have different thoughts.
Yeah, I guess for me, the base is probably the part that feels like the siding keeps coming down and the
Right.
building doesn't, right?
Right.
It just goes down past it.
Yeah,
Like
so
if you
maybe
had-
we visually break that side.
Yeah,
to-
put that line there,
Mhm.
and you could even do something that was some sort of, exterior finish of stucco or something, not stucco, but you know what I mean?
Sure.
A direct applied or something on there so that it looks like it's concrete. I appreciate you don't want to build it out of concrete, but so that it has some sort of appearance that's more of a uniform surface instead of siding, just to match or to,
And I know you guys,
you know.
you care, but you don't care. It's all about the dollars and cents, trading money here and there, and what do we do and how do we make it work?
Yeah,
So
right, yeah.
if we can find a way to do that, I'm happy to visually give us that reinforcement, if you will, of the lines coming around and not so monolithic.
I really do feel like if you can work some windows into that rear wall, the bath area, sounds like your closets are really tight, but get some natural light.
My 2 walk-in closets are 4'10" wide.
Yeah.
So it's wide enough to hang closets and swing a door in, or hang clothes and swing a door, and that's it.
Yeah, it might be nice to get some natural light into that bathroom too. Yeah.
So with respect to the windows for that level of it, the north wall on the upper level, Is that something that can be amended as part of the interior plan when we bring that in?
Well,
Because if I say, okay, let's put some slit windows above the mirror.
right.
In the Jack and Jill, and then it turns out to not be that at all because
I
the
think,
owners say, no, we don't want that.
yeah, I think
Then I'm
what,
kind of.
right. I think what the board's suggesting is that there needs to be more fenestration on the side and the back, you know, the blank side and the blank back.
Sure.
So we're probably flexible as to where that goes and how it gets installed is my point. So eventually we have to see something, right?
Yes.
Right now, we're not looking at a solution. So,
No,
so I think what we do tonight is it seems like those were really the only comments. Mark,
Yeah.
You
the
have anything?
windows on the stairwell.
I don't know how the rest of the board feels, but I feel like that's enough information that if you could amend them for a re-review myself.
Maybe you could meet with your clients and discuss the input you got here this evening and have them make some choices. Then we could actually see what we're voting on rather than conjecture.
Yeah. And knowing how the board feels about everything else, then, you know, you're not gonna, there's not gonna be surprises to anything else either. So we've kind of talked through the foundation, the trim and the fenestration, which you said you're willing to add, but you're not sure where. I still don't know, maybe on that north.
So let me ask a question.
Sure.
So if we agree to add 2 windows to the upper level on the north face, subject to where they're gonna land, but we are gonna pick those windows up.
Yeah.
Does that get us blessed tonight?
Yeah.
I
Right. I think for me, I personally, I don't know how the rest of the board feels. I feel like I would want to see it because it's not just the window placement, but proportions as well. Because I do think the proportions, which you even talked about on the side, could be revised because they're not egress windows. So I would like to personally see that. I don't know how the rest of the board feels. It's not just me up here.
I mean, the north wall in the northeast corner on the north wall, that's my 2 flights of stairs. So
Right.
It's really hard to pick up windows within that stair tower or stair element if we want.
On the
So,
north, you
yeah.
could put one at each landing, couldn't you? I mean, I'm just asking the question.
That's what I was thinking. That'd be something
It'd be a really
at
nice
half
way
level.
to get daylight in the stairwell. I don't, so it could be a nice thing. If you use the stairs,
Yeah.
that could be small
Well,
windows
that's-
too.
Yes, and that's where I was adding the windows on the east side at the end of the head of the stair, which would get light into it.
Yeah. I mean, that's where I'm at. I would like to see it personally. I don't know how the rest of the board feels.
I would as well.
Angela?
Yeah, yeah, so I think you get what we are talking about, and it doesn't need to be, I will say, you don't need tons of windows. Those are options of spots. So then which spots are they gonna be it's a little bit more of a complicated building than our standard sometimes, right? A commercial building is a little bit more
Right.
to it. To say which size you'd have here or there is a little, right? You know, you're not sure where you want them to
I
be.
think, I certainly hear what you're saying about the windows and the stair. But if I go back to my client and say, I'm gonna add 2 stairs, 2 windows on the east side in the stair and 2 windows on the north side in the stair, he's gonna ask me, why am I adding 4 windows to the stair? Can't 2 windows suffice?
Right. And I guess that's where you've heard what we've also made suggestions that you could put, there's other places on the north. I know that you're saying that there's not. So, but I guess that's really why we would want to see it. Obviously you would want to talk to your client and make sure that they're on board, but you understand where we're coming. I think there's some options within that. As the architect, you know what the options are going to be. I think if we could see it and your client is okay with it, that way you don't have to come back. Again, I think that would be the way to go. I know that we have, we can just give these back to you. Give them back to the
Yeah. Oh, that's true. We could give these back to
We can
you.
just give these back so you have to put
Uh,
them all in.
Well, so you don't, when you say that about putting two here and two there, so you don't have to put all those windows. So
Right.
the windows are really very scattered out everywhere else. And then
Right.
there's this area that's all blank. So it's kind of like if you just had a couple,
Right.
it would sort of fill that in.
Okay.
Right. Almost like one on each of those.
Okay.
There's
Yeah.
ways to think about
Okay.
it compositionally.
That's fine. That's fair.
And then it
Yes.
sort of fills
Okay.
in more than,
Yeah, totally. Agree with what Angela said.
Okay.
but that's something you kind of got to look at. We don't want you to say you're going to do something either. And then you draw it up and you're like, "Oh, that's a bit cockeyed." So,
Yeah,
right.
the proportion and the exact position are going to have a lot of bearing on how things look.
Yeah, and for this board, sometimes we see projects that come back like tonight where we have to vote on something that was built.
Sure.
And so we don't want to be in that position. I think the project, by the way, looks fantastic with the roof garden, all that. It's really a great transformation. So it's
It'll be a nice asset for that area.
for sure.
I believe you're right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Agree.
So we're going to recommend to table the vote, if that's okay with you. And we've already explained why.
The perfect world, no, because my clients expect me to get
Well,
blessed somehow, but I understand.
yeah, I'm just saying we can't, we're not comfortable voting on it.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but I don't know if we can return these back to you. You can have my copy.
You
Yeah,
want these back?
that would save you some printing. Yeah,
A lot of them would be.
because that's a
fine
big
to-
submittal.
That's one of the things I always do when I go to ARB. I'm like, all the printing I have to do.
I agree. Thank you.
All right, Terry, have a good evening. That is the end of the official meeting. However, sorry.
So, okay, the answer is from.
Oh, as far as when to
you don't
resubmit.
have, You don't have to vote on it to table or anything. It's tabled.
Yeah, we're gonna table it, but as far as getting a revised drawing back, Yolanda or I'm not sure if Andrew, if you guys know what the deadline would be. Mara's on line to get to get on the next ARB is what I was saying.
Okay, I have that.
Oh.
calendar, so that's okay.
Well, you get a.
I think you,
Different.
it's a little different because you're already here.
Oh,
Does Mara know?
There she is.
Hi, Mara. Almost.
She's connecting.
Sorry, I got disconnected trying to access the microphone to talk to you guys. So on the last one, Yolanda and Andrew, can you make sure he has all 7 copies so he can make amendments if he hasn't left yet?
I haven't looked.
Mhm.
I have
Got
5.
5 there, yeah.
And then he'd have to give them back by when to be on the next ARB.
By noon on Tuesday,
There you go.
and then we can get it right back on to the next meeting.
Okay, great.
Thanks
All
so
right,
much.
Terry, have a good evening. All right, so that's the end of the official meeting. We do have a review of the proposed new building to South Webster High School.
And just a quick staff note, just as a reminder, the school district is not required to come to you. It's not something that they have to do to go through the process of ARB, which is why they're on informational only. And they are on just because it is a courtesy, and we appreciate that they do come before you just to have that conversation.
Great. Mr. Hussman?
All right, thank you, Mara. I'm Don Hussman with Dickinson Hussman Architects, and with me this evening is Mr. Rob Stuber. He is I think your title is Special Projects Manager, but he's a special guy. He's a Webster Groves school district. So as Mara had stated, we're here for information. So I assume that you've all had a chance to take a look at the submission. It's one we've been working on for a couple of years. You probably have noticed that it is a large multi-purpose room that will be in place of the little theater, which will be demolished. The basic footprint is almost identical. This building addition is a little bit larger, It will be used as a multi-purpose space, and I really mean multi-purpose. That's a lot of different uses. But you should also note that it is a storm shelter. And that's a unique characteristic for that building and is kind of a driver for really a portion of the exterior and how it looks. But the basic goal and what I'm certain as a board you're most concerned with is its compatibility to the existing building, the existing high school. We are removing, as I said, the little theater, which was constructed as that entire wing was constructed in 1934. So it does have probably a little bit of a historical significance. I'd like to think that our solution is going in to be a little bit more sensitive than the existing building that we're removing. There'll no longer be an exterior metal fire escape from the second and third level. So it's, we believe it's designed and very much in keeping with the historic texture of the existing high school. And if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer whatever I can, or if there are specific construction related questions, Rob is with me.
It's not really even a design question, but the generator building,
Yes.
is that just like backup power, or what is that?
Well,
What's the
for a
purpose?
storm shelter, you are required to be able to furnish electric power to the facility for a 2-hour period
Okay.
for ventilation as well as lighting.
So I personally, I like the design. I think it looks very nice. Very compatible with the high school itself. I did have one question about this. On the south elevation, you're closing up some of those windows as, you know, because you're putting it up against the building.
That is
instead of
correct.
Weird in between part being there, but then
Mhm.
some of the windows are going to be closed up. Would it be possible to put smaller windows or some, you know, because will that be a corridor without windows? Do you know what I'm talking about?
It is on the lower level. That is a corridor.
Yeah.
And that was a building addition that our firm had completed about, well, we were trying to remember when we did that. It's about 12, 15 years ago. But on the lower level, that is a corridor. So it does have the smaller windows. I don't think that it's a significant impact to lose those windows. And then on the upper level, which is the gymnasium level, those will remain.
Okay, so those windows aren't that, I guess. I was just curious if it's, you know.
Well, the new addition will abut the existing high school, you know, directly wall
Right.
to wall.
So
So
it'll
it
be an
would be
interior.
impossible. It would be impossible to retain those lower windows.
That's what I was, yeah, that's more what I was wondering. Like you,
Mhm.
Well,
it
there,
just becomes an interior
Yeah.
space.
I mean,
It does.
there's a case where you don't want a window
Yeah, right. you
in the
can't.
bathroom, you know, or
Right.
in the fire stair.
Right.
Yeah,
That
that's
is
more what
correct.
I was wondering.
Right.
It's just, I mean, that's the only thing I was wondering about, just because it's nice to have the natural light in a
Well,
school.
it is. And, you know,
Yeah.
as architects, we all hate to lose windows, as you've been fighting all evening. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right, you know, you get that thing of when people compare is this a school or a prison? And
Right,
they'll
right.
Get
Yeah.
those mixed up.
The front elevation of this addition, the west elevation will have a lot more exterior fenestration.
Mhm.
And I think that that's an improvement. And then that actually wraps around the front portion, the entry lobby is not a portion of the storm shelter.
Right.
So we can bring a lot more fenestration to that space, but the rest is, you know, it's a box.
So it's interesting on that point, Don, because is that rear stair on the south? Is that just false fenestration?
It is.
Yeah, spandrel glass.
Mhm. That is correct.
I mean, I think it looks really fantastic. Commend you and your design team because I know what a great job you guys did on the north side. So I think this looks like it's the same vocabulary and very, very well fits the architecture. And I appreciate you sharing it with us. It's great to see.
Yep. Okay. Thanks. I appreciate the comment.
You bet.
Okay.
When do you intend to bid and construct?
We just today had a pre-construction meeting for demolition. And the project will go to the board for approval. I believe it's the November board. I should know this. I got a few too many projects in the mind here. But,
Yeah.
General demolition will begin, assuming that everything falls into place, will begin late this fall, November, December, and new construction will start, weather permitting, in the very early portion of 2023. The goal is to have this project finished by probably August of 2023.
Okay.
It's a pretty aggressive
Yeah.
construction
Wow.
schedule. But
Yeah.
there's a donor involved and they're elderly and,
Oh.
that when someone gives some money, they like to see what they're buying.
Yeah.
So that's why
Nice.
the schedule is very aggressive.
And is part of this funded through the capital?
No, it is
capital?
not.
It's just-
No.
Oh,
is
This
all-
this was a project that was actually, as I said, we started the design work a couple of years ago. So the district was approached by a donor who doesn't live here in Missouri. And the lady was a former student and she became a teacher at Webster Groves High School. So there's a real fondness and attachment to the school. And they've helped, I believe, in other areas with gifts, but this is a pretty large gift for the donor. So that's why it got so aggressive to see it
Yeah.
get constructed quickly.
well,
That's,
hope she
that's
gets to see
amazingly
it.
generous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's awesome.
It is. We
Yes.
love those kind of clients that have
Yeah.
generous donors.
Yes, we do. I'm just curious, are you guys building it on a block or precast or what?
It will be because the walls articulate so much to stay in keeping with the high school. It's a full masonry block
Yeah.
backup,
I figured.
reinforced
Yep.
with a concrete roof structure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Like a two-way slab, all concrete, no steel. up there?
All concrete. Yeah.
Did Scott Rourke
Wow.
design that with you? I'm just curious.
No, he did not, but it is an Alper Audi design.
Yeah.
It's Steve.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
Steve, no, I was trying to think of his last name, but.
Steve Arrett.
Oh, yeah. Steve Barrett.
Yeah.
Great.
I think it looks great. I've done a lot of safe rooms and this doesn't look like a safe room. I had no
Mm-mm.
guess. I mean, it wasn't
Thanks.
even on my radar, so.
Yeah.
yeah,
We-
I assumed
Nice.
it was just because it was a theater, that it was kind of that. I wasn't even thinking about it being something
Well,
like that.
because,
That's wonderful.
our approach was really first, several years ago, we had a preliminary meeting with the city and I was honestly kind of hopeful that it wouldn't have to be a safe structure
Right.
because we were taking a structure down almost of the like size.
Yeah.
But really, if you read the code, letter of the law, you're constructing something new for an occupancy greater than 50. So it triggered. And so the city was very strict about the requirements of a safe room. And, the school district's a good steward of, when they're planning something. So it did increase the cost substantially.
Sure.
But yeah, it's unlike any safe structure that I've ever designed or built.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. Good one to watch.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah.
I'll see it every day when I drop my son off.
Good.
Good job.
All
Any
right.
other questions I can answer? Anything for Rob? Okay, well, thank you for reviewing it and we appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for showing
Okay,
it to us.
all right, thanks.
Excited to see it. So, all right, have a good evening. All right. Adjourned again. Adjourned.